Hey, how's it going? So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about how mental health issues work and where they come from and how they're created. So in my last video, I talked about how emotions work, and I mentioned that all emotions are valid and they're all there for a good reason, and they're always on your side and there for your benefit. But sometimes emotions can come off as being bad or against you, and that's basically what mental health issues are. And so in this video, I'm going to explain how that works and why emotions can sometimes appear to be bad or against you. So all of this stuff basically happens from childhood trauma. So before I get into that, I want to be more specific on what I mean by trauma. So trauma is usually seen by people as being something really severe, such as like PTSD from war or something, or from like physical or sexual abuse, like getting raped or something. But trauma can be a lot more subtle than that. Trauma is really defined as some sort of distress, some sort of shocking experience without anything to resolve it, without any sort of like love or understanding that allows you to cool down from it. And so seeing how that's the definition, trauma doesn't have to be severe. It can be something a lot lighter than that. And so if you go back to your childhood, during your childhood, you often go through a lot of different distressing sort of experiences that really shock you. And if you're not met with love and understanding, these experiences, like the emotions you get from them, they don't just go away. They get stored in your unconscious mind. And so basically anytime you go through anything that's like really uncomfortable or stressful to you as a child, because children are not able to deal with their own negative emotions and they need someone else there to help them, if no one is there to help you through those emotions, they just get stored within you. And so any sort of experience that might seem like it's not very severe, like something like just being shamed or made fun of or like abandoned, or really like any sort of experience that just like distresses you in some way, that can become trauma and that can stay with you. And so basically what happens is, if you're not familiar with the term the shadow is just the unconscious mind. It's the part of your mind that you're not aware of, and it's where or anything in the shadow is generally seen as separate from you and not being you. So what happens during trauma, when you go through distress or something and you're not met with love and understanding and you can't deal with these emotions as a child, you suppress these parts of yourself into your shadow. And so this part of yourself that's feeling these emotions gets stuck in this emotional state, and it gets put into your shadow, so you become unaware of it and it's seen as separate from you. So basically what happens is that a part of you, the part of you that was hurt, is broken off of you and put into your shadow. And this is a coping mechanism because at the time you really have no other way of dealing with these emotions, so your only option is to suppress them. I'm gonna make another video in the future going more in depth on exactly how trauma works and like the specific details of exactly like what happens, but that's just sort of a brief overview for this video. So what I want you to notice is that what happens when trauma occurs is that it's a completely good and innocent part of you that gets hurt and has these difficult emotions, and then that part of you gets put into your shadow. It gets rejected from you, and then it's just held in your shadow. So years later, when you grow up, these emotions will try and come back to you in an attempt to reintegrate themselves, to heal, to release the trauma and to become a part of you again. And the way they do this is by giving you emotional triggers, and the purpose of this is to call your attention back to the emotions so that you can address this trauma and feel through it, which is what needs to happen to process it, and then that will allow it to heal and integrate. But the problem is that because these emotions are in your shadow, they're seen as separate from you and they're seen as bad. So because of that, it'll pretty much look like you have these strong negative emotions in your mind, and they appear to be separate from you, and you have no context for why they're there. They just seem to be there for no reason, and because of all those things, it seems like they're against you or trying to hurt you, even though what this really is the hurt part of yourself deep within you that just needs your love and understanding to be able to heal. So you'll naturally perceive these emotions and your mental health issues as being against you or being bad or something if you don't have any understanding of what mental health issues are. And so because of that, it's understandable that you'd naturally try and get away from these emotions. You'd naturally resist them and not like them and go against them. But because what these emotions really are is the hurt part of yourself deep down, the more you pull away from these emotions and try and get rid of them or get away from them, the more you hurt them. And because these emotions are a part of who you are, it's not that they're hurting you, it's that you're hurting them by pulling away from them. And because these emotions are you, you feel their pain, because they're not, even though they're in your shadow, they're physically part of you, so they're not separate from you in any way. So it's more that you're hurting these emotions rather than the other way around. So all mental health issues exist because there's a part of you deep down that is hurt and stuck in trauma. It makes sense that it would be this way, because the only reason you would have a reaction to something that's not reflective of your present reality is if there's some sort of emotion or trauma that's stuck in your mind that you're reacting to. So it's really important that you understand that all of your mental health issues and all of the negative emotions that you feel, these are hurt parts of yourself that were hurt in childhood and pushed away from you. And because of that, they need to be treated with love and understanding. I think so many people try and push their emotions and mental health issues away, and they're always fighting with them, and they're always like people refer their mental health issues as demons, and they want to kill their demons, or you hear people saying that they're fighting their anxiety or depression, and they're in this battle against themselves. I understand why you would feel this way, as of course, if you don't understand what your mental health issues are, it's going to appear like that. But doing this sort of fighting with yourself never leads to anything good. It just causes you more and more pain, and you're never going to heal, and you're never going to create a loving relationship with yourself if you're constantly at war with yourself and trying to eradicate some part of you, especially because the emotions you're feeling are coming from hurt parts of yourself. You trying to escape them and get rid of them is just making it worse. So when you understand what your mental health issues are and where your negative emotions are coming from, it'll be much easier to deal with them and to know how to treat them. And just by focusing on moving towards your emotions and allowing yourself to feel them instead of pulling away from them or trying to escape them or get rid of them in some way, that'll allow you to deal with them much better, and you won't be in so much pain. I think it's important to know that for healing as a whole, it's a process of moving towards your emotions and feeling through them. And so you need to get used to going towards them instead of hating them or trying to escape them. Like I said before, it's completely understandable why you would want to get rid of these emotions or pull away from them, but if you just understand what they really are, you can see that they're not really against you and they're not really bad, and so that'll allow you it'll make it easier for you to have compassion for them, and then you won't be fighting with yourself, and you'll be in a lot less pain because of that. So hopefully that gives you a good understanding of what mental health issues are and where they're coming from, and hopefully that makes it easier for you to deal with them. So leave a like on this video if you liked it. Comment if you have any questions, or just let me know what you think about this, and be sure to subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and I'll see you in my next video.